Hi, I'm Nancy, and I'm the owner operator of Metro Learning Solutions, which is a supplemental educational business here in the Metro Des Moines, Iowa area. We're a little bit different than most tutoring centers in that we don't focus on academics. We work on developing the brain, the skills that the brain uses to think, read, remember, pay attention, generally just process incoming information efficiently and quickly. Lately I've been going over this book, Unlock the Einstein Inside. If you haven't, we're on chapter 6, so if you're interested in chapters 1 through 5, a quick little 5-10 minute summary, check out my earlier YouTube videos. This chapter 6, is called Your Child's Bright Future. And it starts out by saying, regardless of your child's learning challenge, there is hope. And I want to repeat that. What your child is faced with in the realm of learning does not have to remain. There is hope. The author of this book, Dr. Ken Gibson, has spent his entire professional life searching for answers to understand what it takes to help children learn faster and easier. And he started this quest in the mid-70s and has devoted his life and his livelihood to developing, finding out the answers to this. What we now know about learning are, I'm going to share with you some of these things now. Some actions that usually do not work if the underlying problem is connected to weak cognitive skills. Generally, when a parent has a child that's struggling in school, they seek extra help. They either provide it for their child themselves at home, or they secure a tutor. Maybe the school provides some additional training in their struggling area. That is all reteaching information that the child didn't get when it was presented. If that is the case and it continues, there is an underlying issue that reteaching and re-explaining is not touching. And this cyclical process, if one thing doesn't work, they'll try another avenue. It is still reteaching information. That is what schools and tutors provide, and sometimes it works very well. But if it doesn't work very well, and there's some statistics that can tell you how often it works and to what degree. That's in an earlier video, so I won't go over that right now. But if it's not working, or if your child is struggling over time and struggling learning what their peers are learning, you need to find out why. And that's where Metro Learning Solutions can step in. We can actually find out if the skills that the brain uses to handle information that schools are providing, we can find out if that is working for your child. And if not, we can step in and develop those skills. And that in turn makes learning faster and easier. As I mentioned before, most parents start their search at their child's school. And I've shared with you briefly why that doesn't always work. I'm never going to say anything bad about schools. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. They use best practices. They engage in continuing education. They do everything they know how to do to provide the best learning environment for their students. And they want the best for their students. They have not been educated, nor can they provide the development needed if someone's cognitive skills are weak. So it's the school's job to provide qualified and concerned teachers, a safe environment, and a balanced curriculum. And that's everybody, all schools do that. It's great. But just providing those three things does not guarantee that your child will have a successful learning experience, because schools are simply not designed to build a child's cognitive skills base. To say it a different way, if your child is lacking the important underlying skills necessary for efficient learning, the reality is that without an intervention, statistics show that learning struggles are likely to persist for life. And not only does that impact their learning ability, it impacts how they're feeling about their emotional well-being, their psychological well-being, their academics are definitely impacted, and future career and occupation can be impacted. So you need to have your child's underlying skills evaluated. That takes about an hour. We don't do a whole battery of tests. We test the areas that are essential to learning. And if I could wave my magic wand, everybody would get their children's skills tested every 3 years, whether there's a learning problem or not, just to kind of keep track on that benchmark, because learning struggles can appear at different times throughout school. And what you may be interested in knowing is that the current clinical research reveals that strong basic skills, cognitive skills, can be properly trained and strong enough to support learning in as little as 1 semester. So 4 to 6 months. It's usually a one and done deal. There are some exceptions, but this is an impactful intervention that makes learning easier and faster for all people. If your child is struggling and you're thinking about some interventions, there are 7 questions you need to ask. Does the program impact the cause? So if it's just working on reinforcing academics, it's focusing on symptoms, not the cause. It needs to get to the root cause why your child is struggling. Does the program produce big changes? And the third one is, does it produce these big changes in a short amount of time? Or are you going to have to engage in tutoring year after year after year, or is your child going to need school interventions, grade after grade after grade? We can get those quick, big changes, like I said, in about a semester's time. And does the program produce lasting results? This is the 4th question. Does it produce lasting results? Or again, when new information is presented in 6th grade, are you going to have to hire a tutor again? And again, new information in 7th grade, will that require another tutor? Or does it produce the lasting changes that can follow them for a longer period of time? 5th one is the program cost effective. I like to talk to my parents about the time investment and the resource investment. We can't do anything about the time investment. Resources, there's some wiggle room there. And you have to decide, is it more cost effective to make the time and resource commitment, or do you want to have to handle the problems down the road? 6th one, does the program have proven results? I can share those with you at any time, and probably will do so in future YouTube videos. And then the last one, do the benefits of the program transfer to other areas of life? Once these are strong, you use them all day, every day, so they are constantly reignited and get the exercise and the workout that is needed to be effective. What we create here transfers over into other areas of life, and I have that research to share with you at your request. So that brings us to the end of this chapter, chapter 6. The summary, they've got a little summary here, and I'll just read it to you. There is hope for every child to become a good reader and an effective learner. The first step is for parents to take responsibility for their child's success by getting in contact with me or another PACE provider. 3, if you're selecting a program, you need to select that carefully. And the last summary point is the time to act is now, not 4 or 5 years from now when the problems have substantially grown. Again, I'm Nancy. My business is Metro Learning Solutions, located here in Des Moines, Iowa. If you have any questions or want to follow up, you can email me or you can reach me at 515-523-0980. I love talking about what we do. The phone call is always free, and I can share any information with you that you'd like. Okay, thanks. Check back with me next Wednesday.